Okay, so now what I want to show you how to do, let's go back to the jQuery website. I'm going to close this inspector, is we need to actually download the library. And whenever I talk about JavaScript, JavaScript is something that all of the browsers inherently know how to, they know how to render out. Just normal, plain old JavaScript, all right? It's something that the browsers understand. They come with that library built in. Now, if you want to use a framework like jQuery or some other kind of framework that is built on JavaScript, then you often have to download the library file. So if I go over here, let's go to download jQuery, and it'll give me all these different options about downloading it. Whatever the newest version is, that is the production version, I want you to download that. Okay, so if you're watching this, anytime after I've recorded this, there's a very good chance that this has been upgraded to a newer version. So right now it's up to 3.3.1. Most likely, if you're watching this anytime after I've recorded it, any kind of significant time has passed, then they've probably come out with a newer version. So go ahead and download the newest version. So, and where it says download the compressed production version, that's what I want you to download. The development version is going to be different because if I were to click on this, let's just click on that. It shows all of the spacing here, right? It shows tabs and spaces and everything, right? Let's go hit the back button. If I click on this one though, it's all run together and that's terrifying to look at, right? But the thing is, the browser doesn't need all those tabs to understand everything. And so the fewer characters and the fewer amounts of white space that the browser encounters, the more efficient it will read the file. So when you're using the production version, you can use this file. Now it's very possible that if you click on this, it will automatically try to download it. That's possible that that's how it's going to work with your computer. I'm going to make a recommendation though. On some computers, you could right click and you could say, download or save link as or whatever. What I want you to do is I want you to click on this, and if it doesn't download it to your computer, I want you to actually select everything that's in this file. So the easiest way to do that is to begin to select it, and then either on a Mac you would do Command A, or on Windows you would do Control A and it would do select all. And then you can copy it into your clipboard. You can right click and say copy, or you can just do like Command C or Control C. And instead of just downloading this file, there's a reason that I'm not going to tell you to download it. I want you to actually copy all of this text and then go back into brackets, and you're going to make a new file, okay? And I'm going to have you go File, New, and it's going to know to make it inside of your folder. Let's go ahead and now I'm going to paste it. So let's do paste. All right, and you can scroll up and then you'll see that it's a really long file. And then it's all white right now, but as soon as I go to File, Save, and then I tell it what to save it as, I'm going to call it the name that the jQuery original file was named. So I'll call it jQuery. Make sure you spell it right, just so that later when you try to spell it, it's, you don't have some weird spelling of it. And I'll do 3.3.1 .min, all right, and then .js. What the min stands for, it stands for minified, meaning that that's that compressed version. It's the production compressed version that doesn't have any of those spaces and tabs. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save that, but I don't want to save it directly in my Pin7 folder. I want to create a new folder inside my Pin7 folder, and I want to call it JS for JavaScript. And that's where I'm going to put all my script files. And I'm going to put it here. All right, so it's called jQuery-3.3.1.min.js, or whatever it happens to be at the time that you're saving it. You would put that version number. Let's save it. And you'll know as soon as I save it, it automatically gives me all of the color coding. Now, if it comes up and it tells you that there are all of these weird spacing problems or whatever, just don't worry about that. If you've got your linting on, linting is error checking, don't worry about it. This is the official jQuery library file, so don't worry about it. And you don't need to look at this anymore, okay? That's not what you need to worry about. You don't need to look at this. What you need to do is, let's just go back over here and let's click on styles while you've got this bottom window selected. Let's go to styles. We'll load that there. All right, so now what we have, if you look over here in my JS folder, we have a jQuery.3.3.1.min.js file, and I actually need to link to that in my HTML. Now, I've told you in the past that you can put JavaScript links up in the head of the document. In this particular case, I want to put it down in the bottom of the document, and here's why. There's some times that you will want to load it all the way up here in the head, but right now what I want to do is I want to load it in the bottom, and the reason is because if you load jQuery or any other kind of major JavaScript files at the very top of the document, then other things are going to suffer, and if it takes a while for those things to load. And typically, not always, but typically, the JavaScript stuff is not the ultimate most important thing that needs to load. Usually things like fonts are more important, CSS style sheets are more important, etc. All right, and then the JavaScript behavioral layer, if anyone were to strip it, you know, hopefully it doesn't break your website, but then at least the page should have loaded pretty quickly so that then your JavaScript can load and it doesn't prevent all of this other content from loading quickly. All right, so I'm going to come down here, and you can do it right inside the body tag, or you can also do it right below the body tag. Either way, I'll do it inside the body tag, below everything else, and I'm going to add what is called a script tag. All right, so I'll start to type script, and then we're going to give it a source, so it'll be just like in a link, it'll be src attribute, and then I'm going to find it because I'm in brackets right now. I'll go to JS folder and I'll load my jQuery file, and then there we go. And so what that one thing will do is it will load my jQuery file. So I'm going to put first load jQuery file, or I'll put library file. Okay, and it's sort of like loading a language, and I'm going to put this in a comment. It's like loading a language so you know how to speak it, right? You have to know what the library of that language would be before you can actually use it, right? You can't just start speaking Spanish if you don't know any words in Spanish, right? You have to actually know some words before you can start using the language. So it's the same principle. So this is really, really important. Any other JavaScript that we load has to come after this jQuery load. Any other jQuery based JavaScript needs to come after this, all right? Because it needs to load the library so that it knows how to use that scripting language. It needs to load it to have all the functions available, and then any other frameworks that are built on jQuery, then you would load those scripts, right? So that it knows how to render out the scripts. Okay, and then if you want to put a little note to yourself as a reminder, then you could put something like next. Oops, let's spell the next right. Next, load other jQuery scripts after the library file. Okay, and then that way, all right, that way you have, I'm just going to copy these my little comment marks. That way you've got something that is pretty self-explanatory, right? All right, so nothing is going to look any different at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and save the file. Nothing will look different at all. But now we've got at least our jQuery library file loaded, and if you wanted to just double check, here I'm going to close these things. And I'm going to close this as well. I'll just do this for right now. And what I'll do is I'll go into my live preview. All right, and nothing looks different, right? It still looks the same as, right, still doing the thing on hover. But if I were to go here now and right click, inspect, and if I scroll down to the bottom, right before the ending body tag, you'll see this script right here. And it shows the source as being the jQuery file. What I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to right-click here on the jQuery file itself, on that link, and then say, see, where is it? Open in New Tab, and make sure that you can actually see the source code of this file. If you can't, I'll tell you right off the bat, none of the other scripts that you're going to use in this tutorial are going to work. So you've got to make sure that you're connecting to this jQuery file correctly first. And the easiest way to know for sure before you do anything else is to just go into your live preview, scroll down, find where it says script, and then it's got the source JS/jQuery blah blah blah, and then right click that JS file, open in a new tab, and make sure that it looks something like this. If it says file not found or it comes up with a blank page or something, then you've got a problem and you need to resolve the link. Maybe maybe it's possible that the pathway isn't correct or something like that, but it has to be correct and it has to be able to read that file. Now, the reason that I didn't want you just to right click and download it from the website is that I've noticed on many, many, many occasions when students do that, sometimes your personal computer, when you're downloading a file from the internet like that, when you right click it and you download a link like that, it will change the permissions on that file so that only you can read the file. And sometimes not even you can read the file. So it'll look like the file is there, but then like if you were to do what I just did to try to access the file, then it might tell you that it can't be read or files not found, or like this comes up blank or something like that. And then it ends up being a permissions problem, and that's pretty confusing. So that's why I had you select everything, copy it, and then paste it into a new file and save it as that jQuery library file. So if you're wondering why I did that, that's why. Okay, so now that once you've got this settled and you know that this is loading the JavaScript or the jQuery library file, then you can move on to the next video.